Whitney is our third speaker today. She's been from the very beginning thinking about in the influencer world, which is something I know nothing about. But anyway, her acknowledgments. She says this: I would like to thank God, my parents, and especially my advisor, Miss Yossi, who helped me since day one, and all the teachers and friends who helped me throughout the process. Her title is Not So Clueless Anymore: The Case for Taking Teen Influencer Culture Seriously. Give me just a second to set the timer, and I'll tell you when you can start. All right, you can start whenever you're ready.
Waking up, you're 16, and the first thing you see is a notification from your phone saying that a video you filmed in your bedroom last Tuesday, a video the whole internet is talking about, just made you more money than your parents' monthly paychecks. No boss, no degrees, no 9 to 5. Just a ring light, a day in my life content, and an algorithm that decide whether you were worth watching. This isn't a fantasy. This is Tuesday for thousands of teenagers right now. And yet, somewhere between the brand deals and the burnout, between the viral moments and the mental health crisis, we've been asking the wrong question. Instead of, should teens be doing this? We should be asking, what happens if they do it all alone? Teenage influencer culture, when properly supported, is a legitimate form of youth entrepreneurship. But it only reaches its full potential when paired with one critical element: parental involvement. Teenagers monetizing fame is not a new phenomenon. Long before TikTok and Instagram, child stars like Shirley Temple generated massive Hollywood revenue in the 1930s, raising concerns about financial exploitation that led to the 1939 Coogan Law, which mandated that a portion of children's earnings be secured for their future. The rise of YouTube in 2005 opened new doors, producing early teen stars like 13-year-old Lucas Cruikshank, while platforms like Instagram and TikTok later made fame even more accessible. By 2010, influencing had evolved into a legitimate profession, exemplified by Ryan Kaji, who became the world's highest paid YouTuber by age 8. Today, stars like Charlie D'Amelio earn millions annually, and governments are responding with protective legislations, such as France's laws requiring that income earned by influencers under 16 be partially deposited into protected accounts. From Shirley Temple to modern TikTokers, the core dilemma remains the same. Does fame empower these teens, or does it burden them with adults' responsibilities too soon? While many parents view social media as harmful, this platform can serve as a powerful tool for youth entrepreneurship when used intentionally. Rather than mindless scrolling, teenagers can build personal brands, launch small businesses, and develop valuable skills such as discipline, digital literacy, and communication. This is especially relevant in Indonesia, where teen influencers generate income through educational and lifestyle content, while also serving as role models who champion mental health and positive values. From a biblical standpoint, influencing can even be seen as a calling, as Matthew 5, verse 16 states, to let one light shine before others by spreading hope across digital spaces. Society must therefore shift its perception and recognize influencing is a legitimate modern internship in entrepreneurship and social responsibility. To fully realize this potential, policy reform is essential. Just as France has enacted legal protection for young creators, Indonesia should adopt similar regulation to prevent exploitation. Ultimately, teenage influencer culture is not merely about chasing likes, but about shaping the next generation of confident, responsible, and faith driven leaders. With that, the teenage influencer culture can rightly be viewed as a modern form of youth entrepreneurship, but only with parental support to ensure both success and well being in three main reasons. It equips teens with real entrepreneurial skills. It structures influencing as a legitimate and responsible career. And third, it protects teens mentally and emotional stability. Despite common concern that social media weakens teenagers' communication and critical thinking, teen influencers are actually developing sophisticated business skills through content creation. Through brand ambassadorship and sponsorship, they gain hands on experience in marketing, negotiation, and content strategy at a young age. The number back this up. The global creator economy hit $156.37 billion in 2024. And a 2023 Junior Achievement USA survey found that 16% of US teens now aspire to be content creators, surpassing musicians and athletes. Research also shows that family and peer encouragement build teens' belief in their own capabilities, making them more likely to pursue entrepreneurial ventures. Fortune favors the prepared mind. Teen influencers are rewriting the rules of entrepreneurship by turning social media presence into real profitable businesses. While significant income isn't guaranteed, most influencers with under 10,000 followers earn less than $200 per sponsored post. Many teens are proving critics wrong. Real-world cases make this undeniable. Childish Matter, first, built her audience as teen YouTuber and proving critics. And that influence then opened the door to co-founding the dermatologist-developed skincare brand that sold out within days of launch. And Ryan Kaji earned $29.5 million per year by age 9 through YouTube, with his brand generating an estimated $200 million in retail sales in 2020. According to DigiDay, hundreds of thousands of teen creators are earning through brand deals, e-commerce, and live streaming, confirming that influencing is legitimate business and not just pastime. These teens did not wait for internship or college degrees. Social media gave them the launchpad. Social media entrepreneurship allows teens to achieve financial independence and professional credibility far earlier than conventional career paths. In the UK alone, kids and teens earn €148 million in a single year, with 25% earning through online marketplace. On a global scale, micro-influencer with 10,000 to 100,000 followers, a range many teens creators realistically reach, earn an average of $100 to $5,000 per sponsored post. Beyond income, personal branding suggests that a strong personal brand builds credibility and marketability. And for teen influencer, their content style and audience interaction create a distinct identity transferable to future careers. Teens negotiate contracts, plan content schedules, and produce high-quality media, mirroring real professional responsibilities. The work they do online gives them a significant head start in both entrepreneurship and future careers. A second reason parents should support teen influencer culture is that their involvement transforms it into a sustainable entrepreneurial path rather than a harmful experience. Teens are still developing critical thinking and emotional regulations, governed by the prefrontal cortex, which isn't fully developed until the mid-20s, meaning they need parental guidance. Parents provide the structure that transforms creative expression into disciplined entrepreneurial practice. According to self-determination theory, when parents set clear expectations, teens began viewing content creation as purposeful work rather than just play. Closer to home, Ryu Kintaro Sebastian, an Indonesian teenage creator guided by his parents from age 7, turned his platform into Cap Nona Kaya, a jamu brand generating an estimated 1 billion rupiah annually, earning him runner-up of Southeast Asia's Young Entrepreneur 2025. Without parental structure, burnout is inevitable. A sturdy house, after all, requires a solid foundation. Beyond discipline, parental involvement also protects teens from unequal power dynamics. Brands and agencies hold significantly more power than young creators, and teens may not fully understand contract negotiation or intellectual property rights, making parents as essential safeguard. The industry operates with few regulation, which is precisely why the Coogan Law was enacted to legally protect a portion of minors' income from exploitation. As of 2024, only Illinois and California have laws protecting child influencers' earning, meaning most teen creators have zero financial protection without active parental involvement. Responsible parents ensure sponsorship aligned with family values, income is properly managed, and the teen remains the primary beneficiary, keeping the relationship one of mentorship rather than exploitation. Lastly, parental support helps teens balance influencing with education, essential for long term success beyond social media. The influencer economy rewards constant engagement, which can push teens to deprioritize academics. With parental intervention, this leads to role overload, producing stress, anxiety, and declining academic performance. A Pew Research Center study found that teens with parental rules around social media are more likely to maintain higher GPAs and report lower academic stress. By setting academic expectation, parents prevent teens from sacrificing long-term opportunities for short-term online success. Parents also help teens frame influencing as one part of a broader life plan rather than their sole identity, fostering resilience when followers drop or algorithms change. Influencing may open the door, but education ensures teens have somewhere to go if that door ever closes. In a world where a single post dictates a teenager's popularity and self worth, emotional safety serve as the oxygen for entrepreneurial success. Influencer culture exposes teens to cancel culture, performance anxiety, and dangerous reliance on algorithm validation, making parental guidance necessary. According to Erickson identity theory, a viral hate comment or sudden follower drop can destabilize a teen's entire self-image. Research confirms that when parents actively mediate their teen's digital life, teens shows measurable lower rates of cyberbullying victimization, helping them separate their brand persona from their true self. The real-world cause of failing this is clear. Charlie D'Amelio publicly documented her battle with an eating disorder and severe anxiety at just 15, confirming that without parental support, teenage influencer culture cannot build a firm self-esteem and a stable identity in a system that monetizes their personal lives and approval. Beyond identity, parental support prevents burnout by helping teens balance content creation with their other roles as student and family members. Without guidance, these conflicting demands produce chronic stress known as role strain. Industry research by Morning Consult shows that unsupported teen creators are 30% more likely to report academic decline compared to those with structured parental limits. The APA's 2023 Health Advisory further found that 45% of teen social media users feel overwhelmed by posting pressures, while teens with involved parents report significantly higher self-esteem scores. A 2023 Common Sense Media survey that 38% of teens creators experience burnout, and those without parental check-ins were twice as likely to feel they couldn't stop posting even when stressed. By treating influencing as a scheduled job with defined working hours, parents ensure it remains a controlled entrepreneurial activity rather than an all-consuming lifestyle. During adolescence, parents must set professional boundaries to protect teens from the algorithm tolls on their mental health. Research published in the Psychological Today confirms that social media use is directly linked to elevated cortisol activity in adolescents, with frequent digital device use keeping cortisol level high even after other stressful event has passed. A 2024 peer-reviewed study further found that over half of influencers report distress, nervousness, and irritability. at moderate to high levels. Charlie D'Amelio recovery proves this. After her family structured intervention and therapy, she returned to creating sustainably and demonstrating that parental boundaries can reverse burnout even after it takes hold. Teens with this support don't just survive the influencer economy, they develop the resilience to lead a business without letting online pressure dictate their state of mind. While critics argue that influencer culture exploits teens and distract them from education, this exploitation is not inherent to influencing itself, but occurs when parental guidance is unstructured or financially motivated. Influencing, when properly supervised, serve as a modern digital apprenticeship offering more transferable professional skills than a part-time job ever could. The case of Rio Quintaro Sebastian illustrates that his father, an independently established businessman, was never financially dependent on the child's income. And that independence is precisely what separates mentorship from exploitations. And that independence is precisely what separates mentorship and independence, according to Lawrence Steinberg. Adolescents benefit significantly from supervision when taking on high responsibilities. The solution is not to avoid the industry, but to professionalize parental involvement. Exploitation happens due to the lack of regulation and financial desperation, not its career itself. Unlike a passive user, a teen influencer must learn to process professional criticism as an active business owner. Research shows that teens with supportive parents' relationships are far less likely to be harmed by heavy social media use. Kids manage social media well when they know their parents are in the corner, enforcing boundaries and filtering toxic content. When parents act as a buffer, shielding teens from harmful comments and providing reassurance, teens stop depending on online validation for their self-worth. Psychological harm is caused by being exposed without support, not by role of influencing itself. We started this argument with a teenager, a ring light, a camera, and a dream. What has been established today is that teenage influencer culture is not a distraction from real life. It is real life arriving early and asking to be taken seriously. But skill and ambition alone are not enough. The prefrontal cortex is still developing. Algorithms are still being exploited. And brands are still more powerful than any 16-year-old negotiating alone. This is where the parent stands, not as gatekeeper, but as the structures that that makes the dream survivable. Parents who set deadline teach teens that content creation is labor. Parents who review contracts protect teens from an industry that has not yet decided to protect them itself. And parents who anchor their child's identity remind them that their worth is not in the matrix. The creator economy is already 300 million people large. Teenagers are already negotiating deals, building companies, and reaching audience most adults never will. The only question that remains is whether we will meet them there with wisdom or leave them there alone. Structure the dream and watch what they build. Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. Good job. Our panelists today are Miss Regina and Mr. Pierre from our school board. Let's start with Miss Regina.
Okay, thank you for presenting your thesis very well. Yeah, you deliver it with a clear voice. Good job. Yeah, and also the topic you bring up is very interesting and maybe relevant with the current trend with your age. Yeah, yeah, where maybe teenagers and parents need to know about this more. Yeah. Okay, and I have some questions. So, you mentioned it in your paper that adolescence is the most identity fragile season of a human life. Yeah. As teenage influencers, teenager needs to be aware of the potential for rejection. Yeah. rejection, which can impact their self-esteem. Do you think teenagers at that particularly vulnerable age are mentally ready to face the significant challenges that adults typically face? Yeah, maybe where the situation, many adults also are not ready for that situation. So what do you think? Are they ready mentally to like face the things that maybe this is usually the adult will face?
Thank you for the question, Ms. Regina. Well, realistically, they are not ready. So that's why a parental involvement is that important for those teenage influencer. And if you're saying like, oh, but like some adults influencer are still basically have some mental crisis also. Well, it is not about the number of their age, yeah, but it is about the basically are they alone or not. Like it's about the support system that they have. So yeah, that's why a parent's role is that important in that age. Yeah.
So if the teenagers wants to be the teenage influencer, they need the parent supports.
Yes.
Yeah, very strong parent support. Okay. Okay. However, maybe according to your answers, yeah, that as we know, teenager they trust their peers or other outside their parents more than more yeah. So beside parental support, are there other factors that teenagers should consider to avoid the negative, even potentially harmful impacts of becoming a teenage influencer? Yeah, because they will listen to their peers, they will listen to the people around them, yeah, more than the parents. Is there anything that need to be prepared? They need to prepare.
Well, other than parents as a support system, a good community also is one of the main thing that those children should have. Because having a good community, then children also could basically root it in a more Christianity value life rather than like those other bad community. So yeah.
So beside parents, the teenagers also needs another support, maybe, for example, from the church.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, thank you. Is there any other things, maybe like the internal factors they need to like prepare? Is there any like boundaries or the limit that the teenage needs to be aware of? Yeah, when this means that they are ready to face that challenge.
Well, there are certain adjustments that the children itself should fulfill. For example, by basically able to prove that they can handle like their responsibility in their daily life uh, routine. For example, it could be by just submitting your homework like on time. Like that shows how you could manage time and also basically responsible on what your priorities are, and also probably by having an interpersonal relationship with their parents where it's not just about a hi and bye relationship, but it's about how deep, how basically, yeah, how emotional emotional stability they are, because with those interpersonal relationship it could actually gain trust from parents. So therefore those guidance that parents set, like such as boundaries, with trust, then children will respect those boundaries. Yeah.
So there are many factors here to help them ready. Like it's not only the parents, it's not only the community, but also their independence, their responsibility. Yeah, all of them will like help them ready. Yeah, is that right? Okay. Yeah, this is another question. Adolescence is a time when teenagers desire freedom. Agree?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. If parents take the lead in like controlling or maybe helping them like with the many things with their like online world or something, or maybe with their gadget or something like that, yeah, or social media, do you think this is possible? Or would it make it more difficult to maintain a good relationship between parents and teenagers? Because it conflicting, because in the other side, teenagers want freedom, but the another side, because of this work, needs like parents supervision and parents help, parents support. So parents need to like a little bit like control their social media and technology use. So it will be like, is it possible to do, or this is make it the relationship worse than before maybe?
Okay. Well, about the freedom, that is why parents should set some schedules where uh, it should balance out the teenagers' academic and social lives and also with the career itself. And about the children who basically could obey the parents' boundaries, well, again, like with an interpersonal relationship and with basically a discussion that in like the teenager's point of view it's still fair enough, then it will gain like also again if there's trust in the relationship, then basically their children will respect the boundaries that is set by their parents.
Okay. What kind of boundaries that maybe the teenagers will like accept, and also maybe what kind of boundaries that the parents expect to have? Do you like maybe have ideas or opinion on that?
Well, again, the boundary could probably be the parents who set schedules, again, to balance out those needs of the children, and also to basically manage their sleeping schedule. Because I believe, like most teenage influencer, probably like they could edit their video like midnight. However, like that's not healthy for their mental. So probably like by setting schedule, setting time management, it could help them to be healthy mentally and physically. And second of all, also by setting boundaries towards the brand deals, towards the social media itself, by setting hours on how long they should basically look at those social media, and also have like probably a written contract with those brand deals that oh these are teenagers, like they are not that stable, and basically there could be like something else that could bother their brand deals relationship. However, with parents setting a agreement with those brand deals, it would actually be a great solution. Yeah.
So it should be like a very strong relationship between the parents and the teenagers. So do you think if the relationship between them are not good, is not good, do you think it's it possible to for the teenagers to be the teenage film influencers?
Well, no, that's why there should be an adjustment where the relationship between parents and their children needs to be a healthy relationship where their parents could trust their children and their children could trust their parents.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Pierre.
All right, Whitney, thanks so much for the presentation. I agree, it's really an interesting topic. And yeah, I also agree that parents need to be present with their kids who are trying to be influencers, or by choice or not, like suddenly their clips go viral and it's like a big opportunity to go deeper and start as a young entrepreneur in the social media world. I want to challenge I want to challenge you with a few questions just to make sure that this thesis, this argument can be applied or is very useful. So I think you would assume that these parents are good parents, who have good relationship with their children, and their prefrontal cortex are already developed. But how would you be sure that these parents, when they are accompanying their kids in the social media world, how do you be sure that they are good parental guidance instead of they are the source of parental exploitation? Yeah.
Okay. Well, back again to the definition of exploitation. Like according to Bapak Seto Mulyadi, which is a famous Indonesian child expert, basically he stated that child exploitation is any action that uses their children for the benefit of adults without even considering the psychological or physical and uh, social impact towards the children's development. And therefore, that's why in my thesis, I'm trying to highlight that social media is the tool to develop those skills and not focusing on the goal or the destination where it is all about the income, profit, popularity, like those are the plus point. However, here I'm trying to highlight that those social media platform could be a launchpad for them and could develop valuable skills on their children. And therefore, even as parents, there are also certain adjustments where to prevent those exploitation, such as being financially stable. Since if their parents are financially stable, for example, like Ryu Kintaro's parents, then the source of the family financial income is from the parents, not from their children.
All right. Okay, that's a good answer. So, I guess a follow-up question to that is, you would say that, would you agree if I say this, that it's not enough that parents accompany and be present, but there are also other factors that need to be checklisted first before that, like financial, what's that, financial independence, and then relationship matters. So would you agree that not all parents are good, can be good mentors or guidance for their kids who are trying to be who are trying to develop a career in the social media world?
Well, that's why being a teenage influencer, it is something optional, and it is not for everyone, because even for example, like athletes, like not everyone are there to be an athlete. So therefore, there are a certain adjustment again that parents should be basically fulfill, and even for example, like the financial stable, and also wait, sorry, what's the question?
Like the good relationship within the parents and the kids,
okay.
yeah.
And yeah, that's therefore like even if the parents itself is like not okay, like mentally are not okay, then the teenage influencer thing is not a thing that parents would allow their children to be. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. I want to dive into the verse that you mentioned, Matthew 5, being a light to others in the social media world, where it can be a good platform to be a light to others. Just a few verses, or like one chapter after that, Jesus talked about, in Matthew 6, Jesus talked about the dangers of practicing your righteousness in front of others, where in Matthew 5, it says, shine your light, shining God's light, right? Now, how would you differ or distinguish between being a light to others in the social media world, or just trying to gain personal fame, personal gain, personal brand, and especially when it depends on audience growth?
Well, being a light is not an optional thing. Like even basically, it's something essential, because like even not being a teenage influencer in the social media platform, like in our daily life, we should be the light, where it is not also just being the light in the church or in the spaces where we feel comfortable and safe. However, it is stated that be the light of the world, where in the social media context, therefore, it doesn't mean that every video should be started with a Bible verse or like the caption should be something related with Bible. Like no, but however, with as simple as just creating a day in my life content that show kindness towards the people around you, or even by creating a morning routine where you show that you could take care of the body that God gave you, then by being that, that's simply like you're being the light in the social media. And being the light basically doesn't mean that you should announce it to everyone like, oh, I'm here like to basically spread blah, 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 blah. No. But even in the darkness, like even a candle, it doesn't basically announce like, I'm here trying to basically influence you or blah, blah, blah. But however, I'm here to basically just navigate other people and inspire them. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Now I want to talk about the examples of influencers that you mentioned, like Charlie D'Amelio and then Ryan Kaji, also the Indonesian one, Ryu Kintaro. These are people that you use as examples who can be successful with parental guidance. Now, how can, in the context of Indonesian parents, how can Indonesian parents or Indonesian teens replicate or follow the lead of these people or of Ryu Kintaro in the system of parental guidance so that they will also be successful? Like, what makes them different? What makes them successful? Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, like the foundation of having success and well-being children are being parents there for them, because the role of parents are that important for their children, where their children could feel loved, could feel safe. And yeah, like even shout out to Sydney's thesis, like it's about father role, where even like, I mean, those role could fulfill the needs of their children for not being basically uncontrollable, like, and just being like those nonsense children. However, like having a right parental involvement, a parental guidance would actually lead their children to be a better human. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all for me.
I have just a couple of questions. First of all, do you have any teenage kids? I have some. I had teenage kids at one time, and you know what? My teenage kids never wanted my help. They never asked for my help, and if I tried to help them, they would try to go away. Right? So how does that work? If you want to be an influencer, and you're a standard teenager, how many teenagers are going to ask for their parents' help? And if they don't get it, aren't they going to do it anyway?
Well, again, to be a teenage influencer, you should have an interpersonal relationship. So therefore, if even their parents are, their children are basically, they feel awkward to like ask their parents for help, then I don't think that's a right choice to actually put your children to be a teenage influencer.
Okay, and what about, you've talked a lot about teenagers and how they can do so well. What about 62-year-old bird watchers? Could they be an influencer?
Well, yeah, sure, because like basically to be a teenage influencer means like you could inspire other people for something good, something basically inspired positive values, positive things, routines probably. And well, by watching birds out there, it's actually a positive things rather than watching like an explicit things though. So like, yeah, sure.
Maybe your children can help with that, Mr. Shukla.
I'm just wondering if I can get anybody to subscribe to my channel or whatever it is. Okay, time is up. You did a great job, Whitney. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna meet friends and family over here.